Continuing in Romans chapter 10, and we'll start in verse 14 in a moment. A reminder, you that listen, these readings were from being encouraged by one of my English students in Zaporizhia, that he enjoyed the reading in English of the Bible. And so we're reading in English the Bible, designed for those that English is not your first language. That's why I read slowly and try to explain. So Romans chapter 10, verse 14. But how can they call on him whom they have not believed? So the question is asked, I don't believe in Jesus, so how do I call him when I haven't believed in him? That's the question asked in verse 14. And how can they believe without hearing about him? You see, people that have never heard about him can't believe. That's why people share the gospel. That's why there are missionaries that go to foreign countries and to deep Africa and Indonesia and places where there are tribes, people that have never heard. How can they believe if they've never heard about him? That's the question that's asked. And how can they hear without a preacher? That says, if no one's there to tell, it uses the word preacher here, but it could be just a friend that shares the gospel of Jesus Christ, the truth about Jesus Christ. So how can they hear without a preacher, a teacher, a friend that shares? Verse 15, and how can they tell, unless they're sent? How can I tell you what I believe if I haven't been encouraged to come to you and share these things? As it is written, how welcome are the feet of those who announce the gospel of good things. This quote is saying, we are so glad to have you come and share with us. Your feet are welcome here because you are sharing good things about Jesus Christ. But all did not obey the gospel. Everyone has not obeyed the truth about Jesus Christ. For Isaiah, Old Testament prophet Isaiah says, Lord, who has believed our message? Many prophets shared things and people didn't ever believe them. So Isaiah was saying, Lord, who has believed our message? Who has believed me? Verse 17. So faith comes from what's heard, have to hear it, and what is heard comes through the message about Christ. I've got to hear about Christ to be saved. But I ask, did they not hear? Yes, they did. Many did hear, but did not believe. The quote again, Isaiah made, their voice has gone out to all the earth, and their words to the ends of the inhabited world. The inhabited world, the world where people live. The words have gone. Verse 19, but I ask, did Israel not understand? First, Moses said, I will make you jealous of those who are not a nation. I will make you angry by a nation that lacks understanding. It's frustrating. We get angry when people don't understand. When a nation doesn't understand, that creates anger. Makes us jealous of those who do understand, and they're not part of us. That's not right. Why won't my people understand? Verse 20, and Isaiah says boldly, I was found by those who are not looking for me. In other words, Jesus was found by those who weren't looking for him. They were out doing their own thing, didn't care about him. I revealed myself to those who were not asking for me. We find things sometimes. We learn things when we weren't even looking. Many have come to Christ who were not looking for him. Verse 21, but to Israel he says, all day long I have spread out my hands to a disobedient and defiant people. You see, it hurt when the message of Christ went to his own people, the Jewish people, the people of Israel, and they didn't believe. They disobeyed. They rejected. That's happened. That's why we say that Israel's rejection of the message, it hurt. But God is not through. Many people have found Christ Jesus who were not looking. And many have heard, but not believed. Believe in your heart, confess with your mouth, and you are his.